Do you want to build a loyal and lucrative YouTube audience, even if you're a new creator or you feel a little awkward on camera? Most people think you have to be super confident or polished to succeed on YouTube. But what if I told you the fastest growing creators are using something way more intuitive than that? The psychology of friendship. What? In this video, I'm gonna break down what I call the best friend formula. 4 simple steps to make your videos feel like a FaceTime and turn viewers into real fans who binge, share, and buy from you. This video is filled with so many golden nuggets. Are you ready? Let's dive in. What's up, it's Danny. I have helped hundreds of entrepreneurs scale YouTube channels using these exact tactics. So let's get into it. What is your favorite word? Dale Carnegie, the famous author of the book How to Win Friends and Influence People, says, remember that a person's name is to that person the sweetest sound in any language. When I was in college, I had a friend who read this book and then he started to say everyone's name all the time. It was actually super annoying, but it worked. He started to get more of the things that he wanted and people liked him more simply because he remembered and said people's name more often. But this is YouTube, so you can't be picking one person and saying their name throughout the video. That'd be super weird. And so instead of using a personal name, you're going to use the word you. Instead of making it about yourself, you're going to shift the script. Part 1 of the best friend formula is to change your I to you. Instead of saying, what's up guys, today I'm going to share my favorite way of speaking to the camera like a friend. We shift it and say, hey, here is what you need to know in order to speak to the camera and scale your YouTube channel. The first one I made about myself, and the second one I made it personal for my one audience viewer. Which one hit better, the first one or the second one? Obviously the second one, right? Yes. Also, we know it's my pet peeve when creators say guys, like, who are the guys? You're talking to one person, okay? Here's the thing, especially as a new YouTuber, no one cares about you. Dun dun dun. They don't care about you, but they do care about how you can help them. And then the more you help them, the more they'll care about you. Sort of a cycle. So you need to lean into that, and in all that you do on YouTube and creating in general, you focus on that one person. This is how it can help you. This is how it can benefit you. This is how it can entertain you. Personal language instantly makes your viewer feel seen and more connected. They feel like it's you and them on this journey together, even though you're in different rooms and different times, whatever it may be. Make it personal. It's not a broadcast, it's a FaceTime. YouTube is a one-on-one conversation, and what a relief that is. Actually, people often come up to me and they're like, oh my gosh, I could never start a YouTube channel. I'm so introverted. And I'm like, you're an introvert, you're perfect for YouTube because it's literally just you getting to talk to your best friend in a room alone. Isn't that introvert heaven? I don't know if you're an introvert, tell me. But that seems like for my introvert friends, their version of heaven is just like one person, not groups of people, or even them just being alone. And guess what? That's what YouTube gets to be. But hold up, a one-on-one connection and the language you use isn't enough. You have to also be relatable. Think about the last time that you made a good friend. What made you like and trust them? So I made a new friend recently. You know who you are, okay? She's awesome. And we were getting coffee and she opened up and shared this story with me about how one time she planned this youth event for their high school ministry and she put all this time into it and literally 0 kids showed up. And I remember her story just made me feel so much relief. Like, oh my gosh, that's a worry that I have. My husband and I, we are volunteers for the youth ministry at our church. And I'm always worrying like, oh my gosh, what if none of the kids show up? And hearing her share that story just made me feel like, oh my gosh, I so relate to that. I felt like I could just trust her more after that story and share more of what I was experiencing in my own life with our own youth ministry. Has that ever happened to you too, where someone opens up and you're like, oh my gosh, same, you're my type of people? Especially I feel like if it's something where somebody failed or like things didn't go as planned, it just makes us like, know, and trust that person more, right? And so that's exactly why part 2 of the best friend formula is to get personal, but not too personal. Okay. In psychology, this is actually called self-disclosure. Self-disclosure is the process of intentionally sharing personal information about yourself that often deepens trust and intimacy. The 1973 social penetration theory, which who named that? Okay, I'm just saying. Described it like peeling an onion. And sharing things little by little, we feel like we build more of a connection and trust with someone. Appropriate self-disclosure builds connection, but too much can feel super awkward and off-putting. Have you ever met someone and they share their whole life story and it's TMI and you're like, okay, hold up, I'm overwhelmed. No, thank you. So when it comes to YouTube, you don't need to share your whole life story and all of your trauma, but small stories and your quirks and some of your likes, these are amazing things to add into your videos. But hold up, we just said that nobody cares about you when you first start out. They just care about how you can help them. And so what you do is you weave these things in. You create content that is really for the audience to help them, entertain them, teach them something in some way. And then you insert bits of your personality throughout and lean in, because I've worked with hundreds of new YouTubers. This does not happen naturally. You'll not just think like, oh, I should share this story about this that relates about myself, or add in a little piece about me or a client result here. No, you have to intentionally put it in your scripts. I recommend for all my new clients when they're writing out scripts to scroll through their script and ask themselves where they can add in something personal and then change the color of that text to blue. So as you scroll through, you should see some bits and pieces of blue in your script. And if there are none, then you've done something wrong. So here are some good questions to ask yourself when you're creating a video. Number one, where could I share a moment where I failed but I learned that would relate to this? Number two, is there a win for my own life that relates to this, or is there a client win that could relate to what I'm sharing about? Pro tip here, if you take on clients and you want your YouTube channel to be like a client funnel, then the more you can share about client success stories that relate to what you're talking about, the more people are going to want to hire you. And it's also not salesy at all. It's like a secret way to build in that you work with people. Three, what are some hills that you would die on that you could maybe add in? Like, people know, because I've put in my past videos, that I think cats don't make any sense. Like, why would you own a cat? They're kind of mean. You're like, Danny, why would that ever relate to a video? There are certain videos where I've just been able to talk about it. What's a hill that you would die on? Maybe that's something you can script in. Four, what are some of your quirks? Like for me, I call my inability to focus squirrel brain. And I will get on calls with people I've never met. They'll be like, oh my gosh, Danny, I've got squirrel brain too. And I'll think to myself, how did that person know that? I put it in my videos. Five, what are some things that you can't live without that you tell all your friends to buy? So these are some great things to start with. Of course, you wouldn't share all of these things in one video, but even having the forethought to kind of map these out and be able to sprinkle them in is going to greatly help build your brand and brand trust with your audience. You're welcome. But hold up, just because you practice self-disclosure and you get personal, but not too personal, that does not mean it's going to sound natural when you get on camera. So we need to fix that. Think about how you talk with your closest friend. You are not performing, obviously. You are just having a conversation. You're not trying to be somebody else. You are just being you. That is obviously the goal, is to talk to the camera like you're talking to your friend. You're just showing up as yourself. You're not performing. But this can take some work. Let me tell you a story. So my husband and I met through my cousin, and we only spoke on the phone before we actually had our first date. And he found my YouTube channel. So he got to stalk me before we actually met in person, which unfair for me, but whatever. But he told me like the best thing that I could have heard as a YouTuber. He said, you on YouTube is the same as you in real life. Maybe you have a little bit more energy in your videos, but you're the same person. Though he did say that my eyes are more beautiful in real life. Okay, thank you. But anyway, the thing is though, if he would have stalked my channel 6 years ago, it would have not been the same person. If I look back on those videos, it's super cringe. I speak in a voice that is like way higher. I sometimes go back just for the fun of it to watch them, but my voice is different and I'm acting like someone who's watched way too many competitor videos and is trying to show up as someone who I think I should show up as. And I haven't realized yet that my superpower is me and my own personality, my own voice. And there is one exercise that I found that took me from who I was on YouTube 6 years ago to my husband being able to be like, you're the same person. And that is the fake FaceTime exercise. That's part 3 of our best friend formula. Now, I have used this and I've had all of my clients use this, and it truly works wonders in helping you show up as yourself on camera fast. It is very simple. This is what you do. You're gonna take your phone and you are going to hit record, and you are gonna record yourself talking about something that you're really passionate about. And here's the thing, ramble for like a good 3 to 5 minutes. Then I want you to watch it back and then delete it forever. You are simply practicing talking to the camera alone, knowing it is going to be deleted, talking about something that you could talk about forever. Doing this does 3 things. Number 1, it helps you talk to the camera where there's absolutely no pressure. You know it's going nowhere, and so you just kind of show up more as your silly self, or maybe you're really serious, like your serious self. Whoever your self is, you show up as that person. And then 2, when you rewatch it before you delete it, you see, oh, like this is what it looks like when I'm comfortable on camera. This is how it feels. And then 3, when you actually go to record a real video, you're able to show up as that version of yourself from the practice videos way more naturally. And so I have 3 actionable steps to help you do the fake FaceTime exercise. Number 1, you may have heard this one before, take a picture of your best friend or your favorite client and put it next to your camera. And that way you kind of envision them as you're talking to the camera or to your phone. Number 3, when you do this, say your friend's name throughout filming. So maybe your best friend's name is Sarah. You'd be like, Sarah, guess what? Today I'm going to talk to you all about this, this, and this. And you say that person's name throughout filming because again, in your mind, you're just talking to that one person. And I would even recommend to do this when you are filming your regular videos and then you just edit out the name. Very, very helpful. I do this for actually all of my intros. I will have my editor right now show you how I do this, which is super cringe. Matt, this video is called Matt. Do you want to grow Matt? Do you want to grow Matt? Do you want to grow a loyal and lucrative YouTube audience? I will say someone's name so that it helps me remember I'm just talking to one person for all my videos. And then 3, when you film, you need to make sure you film where you feel comfortable. I remember I had a YouTube client, she was trying to film in her office and she's like, I just feel so like rigid in my office. Could I film on the floor in my living room? I feel way more comfortable. And I said, 1,000% yes, film wherever you're going to be able to show up the best. Even if the lighting isn't as good, show up where you feel comfortable because that's really going to show through when you film. Personal and comfortable is always going to go over well with your audience more than even it being polished. So now you understand how to talk to the camera like a best friend, but we don't still understand what to talk about with our best friend. And this relates to the most important part of being a good friend, and that is that good friends listen and good creators listen too. So part 4 of the best friend formula is be a good listener. Do you know what they say about assuming? You shouldn't do it, okay? And when we assume we know what our audience wants, that's the fastest way to fail on YouTube. We need to know what people want and then give it to them in our own little flavory way with our own personality, teaching style, all the jazz. So how do you listen to your viewer who is across the screen from you? You need to start by picking one ideal audience member that you are creating content for. In branding, we call this an ideal client avatar. And now this is a fictional but super specific person that you imagine up that is the exact type of person that you want to be attracting to your YouTube channel. You give them a name, you give them a vibe, you give them a deeper desire and a problem that they're trying to solve. And usually your ideal client avatar or your ICA is sort of like a culmination of your favorite clients put together. Usually your favorite clients kind of like have certain things in common and you mash them together. Like for me, I work with a lot of women in health and wellness. So my ICA is like a millennial dietitian who is trying to scale and build a client funnel on YouTube. And so if you're like, hey, that fits me, amazing. But if that doesn't fit you, that doesn't mean that by picking an ICA, I push away everyone else. No, but it just makes it that much easier to pull in my ideal audience and create content that I know viewers are wanting to watch. Instead of creating content for a bunch of different types of people, I'm creating content for that one person. And then it makes it really feel like I'm speaking to them. I'm hitting the points that they're struggling with and they know, like, and trust me, and they want to buy whatever I'm offering. And so how do we figure out what our ICA wants from us? We go and we listen where they're at. So I would go to my competitors and I would see what are people saying in the comments? What are people asking about? What are people passionate about? I would find Reddit groups, Facebook groups. I'd go on Instagram, TikTok, and I would study and see what is my audience interested in and what other content is doing well right now in my niche. You can also use tools like Answer the Public or even Ask ChatGPT. Honestly though, one of the best ways to listen well to your audience is to get in DMs on Instagram and talk to people who you believe are your ICA and be like, where are you at? What are you struggling with? What kind of content would you want or are you watching? Building personal relationships with your audience is honestly the most underrated way to grow on YouTube and really know that you're creating content your audience loves. So now you have all the parts of the best friend formula. Change I to you. Get personal, but not too personal. Practice the fake FaceTime exercise. and then be a good listener. You do this, and I promise you, you are going to start showing up so much more magnetically on all social media platforms and especially on YouTube. You don't need to be loud. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be a good friend because people binge videos that they feel close to. So hopefully you feel like you and I could be friends. Ooh, then I did my job. Now, if you want help scripting your videos using this formula, be sure to check out my golden YouTube script, and I will see you next video. Bye.